Hey y'all, okay, I don't know if some of you may have seen my comment earlier, but I had so many people reach out and ask me how I made that thin and crispy cornbread yesterday. So I thought, well, I will just go ahead and make another batch, and then I'm just going to put this up and I'll have it ready for my Thanksgiving dressing, and then that way you'll have it if you want to use it and make it. Okay, so let me show you the first step we're going to do. Now this is a big cast iron skillet, okay, so that's one reason why it's a thin type, because this is it's very big around. Now if I'm making cornbread like if we just want a smaller skillet because we're having white beans or something, I use my smaller cast iron and I'll do about half of this recipe. Okay, so this makes like a big pan, but it's going to be thin. Okay, I don't really know how else to explain it, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so in my cast iron here, I have about 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of butter. You don't really have to measure this, y'all. And then I like to put in some bacon grease. Okay, let's see. Maybe about that much. And then I have my oven preheated on 425. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead, get that out of the way. Get my hands off. I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the oven. Oh, I got to take that off. Hang on a second. This thing's hard to get off. Okay. Woo. Alright. Alright, we're just going to let that get good and hot. You definitely want to get your skillet hot, okay? I know y'all know that. Alright, let's get everything up here. Now, I make just a very, very simple cornbread, y'all, but it's crunchy, and that's how I like it. Okay. Get my eggs up here. Let's see, what are we going to start with? Let's start with our cornmeal. I've got a new package here, and I know this is going to kind of spill out whenever I open it. Y'all know how it does. I had to get me a new one. This is just the self-rising cornmeal mix. And y'all, I don't usually measure, so I'm going to try to measure for y'all, and then I'll try to eyeball it and see if that looks about like what I normally do. I'm going to start, oh, shoot. Hang on a minute. I don't need that much. I'm going to start with, let's see, that's about right. Right at 2 cups self-rising cornmeal. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that looks about right. That's what we're going to go with. We will see. Okay? 2 cups of that, and then I do a little bit of flour, not much flour, and this is an all-purpose flour. Okay, I should already open these up, y'all. I'm sorry, I had to get all new ones today. I did a Walmart order today, and I had to get so much stuff. That's one reason why I'm late getting on here. So I'm going to start with 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Let's see what that looks like. I may do a little bit more. So let's say more towards 1/3, okay? Like I said, I don't usually measure. I just kind of look at it. So I'm thinking that's more along the lines of 1/3 that I normally do. Okay? Get my buttermilk out. Let's see. And then my only other dry ingredients that I put in here, y'all, is I have 1/2 teaspoon of salt, just regular table salt, 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. Okay, put that in. And that is all of the dry stuff. Okay, and then I'm going to do 2 eggs. Now, of course, if I do my smaller little skillet, I only do 1 egg. So 2, I've had these sitting out here. These were the last 2 in my carton. 2 eggs. Okay, get rid of that. And then I like to use buttermilk, of course. Let's see. And I don't know how much of it, y'all. You'll just have to go by the thickness of it. Just you'll be able to tell if you've made cornbread. You know what I'm talking about. You'll see what mine looks like. You just pour a little in, mix. If you do, and if you happen to pour in a little too much, just throw you some more cornmeal in there. That's an easy fix. Okay. See there? You can tell whenever you start getting it, it's still a little bit thick, but I'm going to get it good and mixed up. Okay, a little bit more. We're going to pour in just a little bit of our butter and grease from our skillet too. So allow just a little bit of thinness for that. Okay, let's see. Maybe just a splash more, because it's going to thicken up as it sits here a minute while we wait on that in the oven. So see there, y'all, you just want it about this consistency. You can see what I'm talking about. I don't ever measure that part. I guess I could have poured that in that measuring cup and measured it, but you know what I'm talking about if you've made cornbread. Okay, y'all. I know that that's nowhere near hot enough yet. I'm going to just let this sit here. I'm going to get all my flour and meal and everything put up, and whenever this gets hot, I'll come back and we'll do the last step, and that's all there is to it. Hey, y'all, real quick, I want to tell you, I'm still waiting on our skillet to get good and hot. You want it hot, hot. What was I going to tell you? So, that dressing I made last night, y'all, was so good. I think the pieces of bread really helped it, you know, and I toasted it up, and then, of course, I toasted up the cornbread, which, when you use a crispy cornbread like this, and you crumble it up, it's going to have some of the bigger pieces because it's so crunchy, you know. So, if you like a really, really smooth, very fine cornbread for your dressing, then you may not want to do the thin and crispy cornbread for your dressing. I like it to have more of the pieces in it. It just gives it a little more texture to me, and that's why I left a few of the toasted pieces of bread a little bit bigger, because I kind of like that. But you know, that's all a preference. But even if you don't want this kind of cornbread for your dressing, it's perfect with some white beans. Especially you put it in there and you have that little crunch to it, you know, after it gets in that bean juice. Oh, it's so good. But anyway, I loved the dressing. Oh yeah, the only thing that I'm going to do different the next time I make it, which is going to be for Thanksgiving, I'm going to add 2 eggs instead of 1. You know, I added 2 eggs into the cornbread. And so then whenever I mixed it all up, I thought, well, I'm just going to do 1 egg instead of 2. I should have went on ahead and did 2 to kind of help, like, congeal it up, I guess, a little bit more. But aside from that, the flavor, the moisture, everything was perfect. I absolutely loved it. I ate some more of it today, and I thought it was great. Also, let me show y'all what I got in my Walmart order today. I got me one of these mixes. You know, we were talking about it the other night when I made my homemade sloppy joe. And I asked if anybody had ever used these. And so many people said yes, that they loved them. And I've never tried it. You know, I had never tried the spaghetti one either. And now I love it. And so it'll be a while before I make them. But I just happened to think of it while I was doing my order. And I thought, I'm getting me a pack of that. Because, you know, I've always got ground beef in the freezer. And it's just one of those things that I can throw together one night. And so, whenever I make it, I'll come on here and share it with y'all with a little packet. It's just another little inexpensive way and quick way that you can make you a sloppy joe. You know? Alright, I think that's about getting hot enough. Y'all hang on, I'm going to get it out and we're going to get this cornbread going. Okay, y'all, I got to put my gloves back on to do this part. So you can see here we have this, it's quite a bit in here. And what we're going to do is pour a little bit of it in our cornbread. About that much, yep. And we're going to leave the rest of this in the skillet. Yes, I know it sounds weird, but that's what I'm going to do. Leave the rest of it in there, and then I just mix this up. And if y'all see a few little crumbs or whatever, that's just from the bacon. I don't drain it. I just pour it all in that jar. So if you drain yours, then you won't have to worry about having that. And then I just pour it in my skillet here. It's sizzling a little bit. I probably rushed it a little bit. Usually I probably have my skillet a little bit hotter than what it is right now, but that's okay. So as y'all can see, this is, let me set this down. This is a very thin, let me get y'all up here. This is a very thin layer of cornbread. You see, I'm trying to push it on around so that it gets all down in there, and that's why it is thin and crispy, because it's thin when I put it in, and then, so therefore it cooks up thin. So that's it, y'all. That's it. I'm gonna put it in the oven. Like I said, I've got it on 425, and I will time it. I normally don't time it, but I'm going to, so I can tell y'all exactly. And then I always put it on broil to get that top nice and crispy. But I'll let y'all know exactly whenever I come back. Okay, y'all. Our cornbread is done. Let me get it out over here, and then I will tell y'all exactly how long I cooked it. Something I want to show you first though, but do you see how around the edges of the cornbread it's kind of pulled away from the skillet? Like, see how it's kind of moving in there? A good seasoned skillet, and that's what it's gonna do. And y'all, I'm telling you what, I wouldn't take nothing for this skillet. So here we go. Let me try to get it over in there. All right, that's it right there. Y'all see? Good. I mean, I'm telling you what, this is crispy. Now I want to turn it over. I like for it to be the other way. I like for it to look like that. And then I put something up under it to keep that bottom part from sweating, kind of like that, before I slice it. Okay, so let me tell y'all how I cooked it while I'm sitting here trying to kind of rig this up. So I did 425 for exactly 20 minutes. I was hoping that I would be able to get a good time where it wasn't like 17 or something like that. So anyway, I did. I got, there's something in here. 20 minutes, 425. Then I turned it on broil. And I set my timer for 5 minutes, but I ended up taking it out at 3.5. So I know that's an awkward time. So if you want to go 4 or you want to do 3, go ahead and go for it. I just wanted it to look just like this. And so at 3.5 minutes, I took it out. And I had on broil on high. You know, I don't know how your stove is, but mine has a high and a low. And then just remember too, all ovens cook different. So especially when you have it on broil, you want to keep an eye on it. You don't want to burn your cornbread. But anyway, this is it. Like I said, I've got those little things under there right now, just trying to keep the bottom. But you can see the thickness of it. It's like a thin cornbread. That's how I like it to be. So if you want a thicker cornbread for a big skillet like that, you would just have to make more. Or if you put that amount in a smaller skillet, you're going to have a thicker cornbread. Because I can't even, that skillet is so big, whenever I make this cornbread, you notice I have it on my little pizza pan here, because it wouldn't fit on just a regular plate, because it's a little bit bigger than a regular size plate. If that can kind of give you an idea. Well, actually, I'll show you. That way y'all can kind of tell a little bit more about the size of it. So this is just a regular size plate. And as you can see here, when I put it down, there's like just a little bit that goes around the edges of the outside of it. So that way you know exactly how big it is. It comes outside this just a little bit. So I know it's hard to tell on camera sometimes about sizes, and I don't know what size of skillet to tell you that I'm using, but I know I love that skillet. It has never let me down. But I'm going to let this cool for just a second, y'all, and then we're going to do a little taste test. I might get me a little butter out to do a taste test, and then I'm going to put this up, and I'll have it ready for my dressing. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and cut us a little slice of this cornbread. So I'm just going to kind of go in like this. Normally I would cut, you know, like that, but Since I'm just going to be doing a little taste test with you, I'm just going to try to cut a little piece out. It's already trying to fall apart on me. See that? That looked good. It's just a steaming. I left a little piece in there. And there that is. But I'm going to tear this off. I'm going to tell y'all my favorite part of the cornbread is this right here. This right around the edge, because it is so crispy and crunchy. So I'm going to get me just a little bit of butter here. I should have had this butter out, but this here will melt it quick. Oh. And I'm going to wrap this, I'm going to let it cool, of course. And then I'm going to wrap it up in some foil. And then I will have it. And I thought, well, I'll go ahead and do it now. And that way, if y'all wanted to make it for your Thanksgiving or whatever, then you can. Now you know how to get good, crunchy, crispy cornbread. Let's see. Perfect. Crunchy. The flavor's great. The only thing I wish I had is a bowl of beans, y'all. Y'all know that's whenever, y'all know that's about the only time I ever make cornbread is when I have beans. So, or unless I'm making dressing. Anyway, y'all, that is it. I just wanted to show y'all that because I had so many people ask, and I thought, well, I'll just do it like this, and that makes it easier. Because I knew I didn't have any measurements, no way to tell you, so I thought I'm just going to have to do it. Anyway, I hope y'all have a good night. Y'all see little Belle over there, she's snoozing in the chair. And, oh, yeah, she was. A lot of y'all asked me, was she snoring last night? She was. I'm just so used to it, I guess. I didn't even pay attention while we were doing the video. But after I went back and looked, she was. And that's just, she sleeps very hard sometimes. But normally, she will only snore like that whenever she's in the bed. So last night, she must have just been really tired. Because normally, when we're in here, she doesn't sleep like that. But I think this weather, you know, she's a summer girl. Like her mama. She don't like this cooler weather. And so it makes her kind of lay and lounge around and sleep a little bit more. Anyway, y'all have a good night. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.